Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the February 6th, 2025 edition of the KubeStellar community meeting. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to share our, let's see, where are we here? I think this is it. Let me see if I can share this correctly. There we go. Okay. Sharing our agenda. So, we are proud members of the CNCF Sandbox project, and as such, we abide by a contributor code of conduct. I'll read it here. As contributors and maintainers in the CNCF community and in the interest of fostering an open and welcoming community, we pledge to respect all people who contribute through reporting issues, posting feature requests, updating documentation, submitting pull requests or patches, and other activities. We are committed to making participation in the CNCF community a harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of level of experience, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, personal appearance, body size, ethnicity, race, age, religion, or nationality. Yes, that's right. We should all be nice to each other. So it's a good thing. It's a good mantra to live by. So if you're watching us back on video, go ahead and go to KubeStellar.io/join us. You can say join_us or join us as one word. That's a Google group. You will select to be included in the Google group for KubeStellar, and then you'll be granted access to this document and other documents we have, as well as get regularly recurring meeting invites. And that's how we operate here. The place where this will be posted, of course, is KubeStellar.io/TV, which is kind of meaningless because if you if you need to know that, then you're not seeing it anyway recorded. So anyway, that's the end of that. So all right, so let's get on with our agenda. If you're joining us and you'd like to put your name on the line here to let us know you're there, that'd be great. If you're on video, yes, again, it's being recorded. Turn it off if you don't want to be recorded. And also audio is being recorded as well. All right, so let's get started. So I wanted to give everybody a quick update as to where we are with the UI for KubeStellar. So it's coming along, I think, quite nicely. If you can see my browser page, these are a bunch of contexts that I have. We're starting to make some inroads. People are learning how to work with Node.js and how to return table structures and so forth. And you'll see some of the information is a little inconsistent in the way it's being displayed, but overall we're starting to make some real progress here. So I encourage you to continue to follow that project if you want and contribute if you can. The skill sets there do not have to be Go related necessarily, so you don't have to really know necessarily about how KubeStellar operates at a very low level. I mean, it is nice to know, but the view information that we are putting together has a lot more to do with aesthetics and accessibility than it does with the underlying technology. And so, yeah. So please join us if you can. All right. Any comments or questions on the KubeStellar UI? All right. And if you want to use the KubeStellar UI, let's go there real quick. UI. You simply go to our repository and follow the nice instructions on README. There is a piecemeal way of installing the project and getting going. Basically, you need Golang, Node.js, of course, an installation of KubeStellar under the covers. Clone the UI, give it some basic setup. For this one, this is the Vite base URL is all that's required in the .env file. Change to the back end and say go run main go, and that'll be your interface to KubeStellar's context and objects. And then on the front end side, it's npm run dev. That's in the main root directory. And that's how you can run that in piecemeal and make changes and so forth and see them update. We also have a Docker Compose or a set of Docker containers, two in fact, and you can use after you pull the repo, you can just simply do Docker Compose up build, and then just go to localhost:5173, and you'll be able to see the results. Our build process, we've got a development and a main at this point. That's how the team has decided to work. And the main branch is locked. It will be a stable version for us. Development branch is that messy or dirty branch where we make all our changes. And so that's the update I have for you on the UI. Any questions for me? All right. 026 RC1 is available now. There's a version of the all-in-one demo environment script in there that's now running without concurrency. And we've also upgraded to Kubernetes 1.29. Any comments or questions, Mike, anything you want to impart on this section?
We're talking about the
No, just the RC1. Is there anything else you want to add there? Non-concurrent, all-in-one, and upgrade to 129.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other work there. It's in the release notes. So I'll just stop there.
Okay. Is this the RC? Okay, 251. Okay, increase the Kubernetes release, the demo environment. Okay, great. Yep. Okay, great. Okay. We'll carry on. The all-in-one demo environment. Of course, we've got the addition of K3D, but I'll be taking that off here now. We're researching two things that are happening on Ubuntu VMs or Ubuntu systems, Ubuntu operating systems, OS issues we are tracking.
No, I don't think the kind one is specific to Ubuntu. And
yeah, I'll leave it at that's a good point. Okay, so for one, we're noticing that when folks install Docker as part of
Docker
our
desktop,
Docker desktop as part of our prerequisites, they are left with something, a file that's Docker config.json that has in it, amongst other things like authorizations on, I guess, on how to pull containers from certain registries or default to certain access points. And in this file, apparently, this comes in its base configuration. We're not sure yet if this comes empty or if it has something in it that's default. But either way, it's not conducive to downloading and running KubeStellar or much of anything else. So
Helm charts. It's right. It's all yeah. Right. The problem is when people install Docker desktop on Ubuntu and perhaps other Linux systems, the installation instructions say you also have to install a package called pass. And if you don't install pass, you have a broken Docker. You do have this config file in your home directory. You might want to write twiddle slash in front of that file name. So Docker, this partial Docker desktop install creates this Docker config file that says to use something that doesn't exist. The next part of the problem is that Helm, when it goes to pull a chart from an OCI registry, if you don't have Docker installed at all, it'll work just fine. If you have Docker installed but broken, Helm will try to use this config file, which refers to something that doesn't exist, and then Helm will fail. Even though it's pulling a public chart that doesn't require any login or any credentials, the fact is that when pulling a chart from an OCI registry, you have to do this strange little dance to get a temporary token to actually read the chart. And this broken Docker config file thwarts or causes Helm to get a problem in fetching that token, and that's the error message you get, which is completely not pointing out the problem. So everybody who installs Docker Desktop without installing pass gets this complete strange failure with the unhelpful message and is very confused.
Okay. Configuration, existence of pass, etc. Okay, so we're hot on the heels of trying to figure out what this is and determine how we can fix it. This is something that'll take a couple of weeks maybe, but we're hopeful in the short term that we can start to get in front of this issue that others are seeing, that have been seeing it for quite some time, and hopefully, yeah, we can make a difference there. Then there's another one on, let's say, we want to, yeah, I guess we could say kind. Kind on using Docker desktop, Rancher desktop. Is no.
I think it's not specific to Rancher or Docker desktop. The problem is in the kind. Well, I guess yeah. The problem is, well, no, yeah, it's not specific to any of those. Kind is very stressful because it's basically a Docker and Docker solution, right? Every time you create a kind cluster, you're creating a whole virtual system inside a container. And as soon as you try to make more than 2 of those, you run up against some limits, some default values for some limits in the Linux kernel. So kind has a known issue that says, yeah, if you get an error message about too many open files, you may be running into these limits, and here's a tweak to those limits. Here's how to tweak them temporarily. Here's how to tweak them in your Linux config. And so we try to tell people to do that, but still people don't always do that, and thus run into trouble. So because our demo involves 3 kind clusters, indeed, this tweak is required.
All right, so this is how I fix it on my side. So I'm sure there's other ways to do it with other systems, but this is what I use.
Yeah, and actually that's not even going to work because what you showed there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that doesn't work because, I thought I had tried that.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. I'll investigate that offline.
Yeah.
Docker maintains that config file is kind of maintained by Rancher. Sorry, when you use Rancher desktop,
Right.
that is maintaining that config file. So that's why tweaking it directly is.
Oh yeah, there was an overrides. That's what it was.
Right. Yes. So Rancher has its own.
Oh, here it is. No,
overrides.
never mind. Yeah, I got it here. Hold on. Yep, you're right, Mike. Hold on. I'm putting it in here now.
Well, what we really should do is put it in a known issue.
Yeah, but when people see this, it's just another way to do it. Let me just do it here. I'm just putting it in here as a placeholder, and we can go to town on an issue, but at least it's got some start. I'll figure out formatting here in just a bit. Okay, very good. All right, so that we're tracking those, and we think with these are two what I've found to be the most popular or most prevalent issues that I'm running into when I try to help people get things installed. And one of the ways that we get around this Docker config.json is to use sudo to install. So sudo su dash. But that's quite a big hammer to use. But if you're in a pinch, you can use it instead of having to muck around with this. In the latter, though, there's no way to get around it. You will likely see some of the kube proxy is what I found is really largely affected. It just won't start. It'll complain about not having enough file resources in the log message. So that's something to just be aware of if you're helping others install KubeStellar, that these two issues you may bump into them, especially on Ubuntu systems where you can get both, and then that's really trying. But you will bump into this on Mac as well. All right. Any other comments or questions for this section?
But just to be clear on that kind issue, you'll bump into it on every Linux, everywhere, because it's the Linux kernel has to be tweaked.
Yep. Okay. All right. Includes WSL. Okay. All right, the UI is available again. We're having regular Scrum meetings twice a week and individual sessions with folks. It's coming along, I think, and we've officially placed some issues out in the CNCF. I think this is, no, that's not it. That's not, yeah, that's it. So here are the issues that are out in the CNCF. Well, this is in our KubeStellar UI, but they're referenced by the CNCF. And we're going to have our own page dedicated so you can apply for the UI internship. We're looking at hosting at least six mentors. I'm sorry, six mentees. So that'll be open and available. The term runs between March and May, and then there'll be another one in the summer and one in the fall. So there'll be three total semesters that we'll I hope to participate in. Right now, we're looking for six folks, but in the future, we may drop that to four to be a little bit more manageable. But to get the UI off the ground, we thought it would be good to start with this many. Okay, upgrade campaign continues. We're now on Kubernetes version 1.29. Bradley, do you want to give anybody an update on performance testing? I know there was a lot of back and forth in issues and PRs this week.
So I'm just working with Mike on the PR 26. Yes, that's that. The other two PR zero merged, so we are just one PR that is about the infrastructure to do the scale test in KubeStellar.
Okay. Very good. All right. Anything you want to comment on, Mike, on multiple simultaneous KubeStellar systems?
No news there.
Okay.
As I say, it's still not well supported.
Right. Very good. Okay. Put in here real quick. Let's see. To do add LFX intern links. All right, very good. Let's move on to the next. Okay, KubeCon EU in London, April 1st to 4th, as CFP has closed, and we were selected to give a few items, and we're waitlisted on others. There's a few talks that are waitlisted that Paulo has outstanding. We'll see if those are get accepted. We were also accepted at the Partner Pavilion, and I'll have to add these dates. And the Contrib Fest, which I believe is on Thursday. I've already advertised that out there, and it's on LinkedIn as well. And the Lightning Talk, which I think is on Tuesday at noon, 12 p.m. BST. Okay. All right. So come join us there if you can. The Contrib Fest, there's already a list of issues out there, and I'll add those here too. Need to add issues here. Okay, and so you can cherry pick those issues now and get started on them and look to us for help when we're on site. We'll look to help you get those incorporated and PR'd and maybe even reviewed and accepted. Okay, so we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you. All right, the Cornell SDF program, we've started working on incorporating KubeStellar in confidential computing to see if it works, and if it doesn't, what changes, if any, we need to make to the code base in order to support it. Bradley, anything else you would add there? Okay. All right. So that's going to wrap it up for us today. I'll open it up to the floor. Does anybody have anything they want to comment or question on? So I know, Kevin, I'm calling you out here, but I know that there's rumor that there's going to be a new infomercial for us ready for EU. Is that true?
There should be, yes.
Do you have any artifacts you'd like to share to give a sneak peek?
I don't have it on my desk at the moment.
Okay. All right, everybody. So stay tuned. We hope to have a new commercial ready for KubeCon, starring some of the participants that are on this very call. All right, folks. Thanks a lot. That does it for us. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.